Israel's military ordering nearly 100,000 civilians to evacuate parts of eastern Rafah and leave for humanitarian zones. Israel's now preparing to send ground troops into Rafah. The IDF did drop leaflets from military aircrafts. Meanwhile, the Biden administration reportedly put a hold on a shipment of U.S.-made ammunition to Israel last week. A spokesperson for the White House National Security Council telling Fox News Digital the United States has surged billions of dollars in security assistance to Israel since the October 7th attacks and will continue to do what is necessary to ensure Israel can defend itself from the threats it faces. I want to bring in Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz. She's a member of the House Judiciary and Republican Study Committee. She's the commissioner to the U.S. Commission on Security and Cooperation in Europe. Congresswoman, good morning.
Good morning. There
is a lengthy piece, an editorial piece in the Journal this morning about the Biden administration's handling of the ceasefire negotiations, which have so far been a complete failure between the Israelis and Hamas. Now this weapons shipment is reportedly on hold, according to Axios. Can you comment?
Well, listen, it's unfortunately, it's another, mishandling foreign policy blunder that this administration has, because they have been weak on with our adversaries. You've seen what's happened in Afghanistan and, our failed withdrawal, and it's really abandoning our allies. You've seen what's happened and weaknesses in Ukraine. And now the administration, again, show weaknesses and abandoning our important ally in the Middle East. What is it going to do? It's going to embolden adversaries, and it's going to embolden, all terrorists that are really, want to destroy the state of Israel, but also they want to destroy the United States of America. We cannot be stupid. I think this policy has been weak and stupid, and it's truly politically driven, because we have people in the White House, that are very, very weak and political, and they don't care what's happening, and they don't understand that these weaknesses invite more wars and more aggression.
Yeah, and you've been very vocal about your feelings about not just ammunition shipment, but obviously aid in particular with Ukraine. I want to bring in Liz Peek. She's got a question for you.
Good morning. Yes, there's been talk about Speaker Johnson inviting Netanyahu to come and speak to Congress. Do you think that might happen? And could that be a change or provoke some change in this attitude of the House and the country overall towards this war?
Well, I think, unfortunately, this is a very small group, in our countries that has been very radical, but it's been very important for President Biden for political reason. We see what's happening in our colleges, campuses. We see what's happening with anti-Semitism in our country, because we have a very, very, radical small group of people, but very vocal and very aggressive, try to intimidate the rest of the country. And unfortunately, Biden administration has been, and President Biden, been very weak and afraid, and he has political, reasons to do that, not any reasons that leader supposed to have. So his lack of leadership causes what is happening right now. And I think it would be good if Prime Minister will come and actually talk to Congress and American people. 6 million Jews were killed, not 100, not even 100 years ago. Under, what's happening under Hitler and Nazis in Europe. And we cannot forget that, people there have to survive. And I think, Netanyahu has to defend his own country. He has no choice. These people want to destroy the state of Israel. They want to destroy Jewish people. And he will have to be able to stand against this, brutal terrorists. But also America needs to stay with our allies. We cannot be abandoning our allies, because what's happened that is also causes a lot of adversaries and a lot of other countries that now are thinking, should we stand with America, or maybe we should stand with China and Russia? Because you stand with them, they'll give you cheap weapons and money, and Americans can abandon you. I think it is terrible. For our national interest.
I want to go back to something you said earlier. You mentioned what's happening in this country, and you've got, L.A. police just cleared this anti-Israel protest encampment at USC. That was just yesterday. No one arrested, but the president, said that they're not going to be tolerating these encampments. Still, other colleges are. And New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik was with Maria yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures. Listen to what she told her.
Who
is funding this? I was told that a lot of these groups were getting their direction from social media.
This is a well-organized entity of far-left Democrat radical groups. In addition, there is a foreign funding piece that is very important that we get to the bottom of. Any individuals who are part of these pro-Hamas riots or pro-Hamas encampments who are on student visas, those visas need to be revoked, and those individuals need to be deported immediately. And in the case of Colombia, we found from NYPD that over 40% of the rioters were unaffiliated with Columbia University, meaning they were neither students, professors, or faculty members.
Should we be deporting these international students that are on campus? And what should be done with those that are not students on these campuses?
Well, I think, we need to show leadership. You cannot allow, to have lawlessness in our country and intimidation. Today are Jewish students, tomorrow are going to be Christians, and then a day after tomorrow will be all of us. We cannot have radical group with bad agenda to coerce and intimidate in submission and people to be afraid. There is a limit, to free speech, whether it's becoming a violence and intimidation. Everyone is free to say their opinion, but you're not free to coerce and intimidate the rest of the people. And I think we need to be also very clear. A lot of this foundation get a lot of foreign money. Why presidents of these universities and boards are not enforcing law and order? This is a question that Congress should be asking. And why they bring, students from foreign countries that incite this violence and financed by foreign governments. These are very legitimate questions. And we need to understand that we have a lot of adversaries and enemies around the world who want to destabilize us eternally. Yep. But it goes back to leadership by our leaders, by president universities, and really complete lack of leadership and strength by this administration.
Certainly. Before you go, real quick, I do want to ask you about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's expected to bring her motion to oust Speaker Johnson this week. Do you support Marjorie Taylor Greene's moves to get rid of Mike Johnson as Speaker?
Listen, I understand Marjorie's frustration. I share them very much. I always say Republicans should pick some hills to die on and take it, and we took none. We passed omnibus, we passed FISA without a warrant, and we just now passed foreign aid with no border security. I understand her frustration. I'm not sure if there is a time to change the speaker. It's probably a conversation for next Congress, but ultimately, we are divided house, but I'm very disappointed that we were not able to deliver for the American people.
So you'd be a no vote?
I would probably not vacate the speaker. I would think what to do. I could but let actually the motion go to the floor, but very likely it will not, because Democrats love our leadership in the House. Like, they're able to pass anything they want, so it probably wouldn't matter anyway.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I was looking at a report that this Congress has been one of the least productive Congresses in centuries. Congresswoman Victoria Spartz, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right.